Hi, my name is Justin Yomok, and this is the CNT podcast. This week I have Alex Crossius here to ask, and I have some questions to ask him. Let's hop right into it. First up, how long have you been with the aquasox?
I've been with the aquasox for almost 4.5 years. This would have been my 5th season with us, but I started in January of 2016.
Nice, very cool. I've been coming to games since we've moved here, and I really enjoy it.
Well, I've probably seen you around. I definitely have over the years.
Yeah. What is it like to work in baseball?
It's a lot of fun. It's kind of cool because baseball is one of my biggest hobbies and what I've gone to for years and years, going down to T-Mobile and Safeco Field. And so it's always kind of nice to mix your career with something that you're really passionate about, because then your passion comes out into what your work, since you get to do it every single day for like me the last few years.
Nice. I hope to become a broadcaster when I grow up. So.
Well, you're a young guy well on your way interviewing me right now. So.
Can you describe what your job entails?
Yeah, so during the off season, which a lot of people realize we actually do work year round. It's not one of those things where you start in June and end in September just when the season goes. We still do have other responsibilities to get ready for the future season. So during the off season, I handle all of our corporate sales, or one of the guys who handles it. So that's from selling the billboards out in the outfield, to selling radio ads, to selling on-field promotions in between innings, selling print ads, whatever you think in the ballpark. I've tried to sell it or try to find a sponsor that best fits with it. And also I get our promotional schedule ready. So that is your bobbleheads that you get at the gate, working with Funko about the Funko Pops, working with marketing on theme nights. So I try to do, it's a little bit of everything, trying to prepare ourselves for the future season. And then during the season, I handle our in-game promotions. So when I get in a penguin suit and I dance in the dugout for the YMCA, I make sure everything's all choreographed between us and the press box and the video guy. So we'll make sure when we can see the highlight up there, and Tall Tom knows what he's going to read during the PA during the bottom of the third inning. And I also handle our team operations. So that's our host families. That's our planning the bus schedule for the team. That's also planning their meals for after the game too. So it's a lot of little things that come together. So you're always kind of thinking about what's coming next. So it's kind of a fun thing, and getting to hang out with the guys and get to meet all the players that come through Everett. It's been very fun over the last 3-4 years.
That's awesome. I remember coming here when Kyle Lewis was recently drafted. I saw his first game here.
Yeah.
Where he hit his first major league career home run.
Yep.
And it was really cool. So, who's some of the players you saw come through the aquasox?
Oh man, Kyle Lewis. I remember when he was here. Unfortunately, I do remember the day game when he did tear his ACL. But look at him now; he's one of the best players, kind of leading the rookie of the league, or rookie of MLB this year. Evan White. I saw him for the few games here. He's ridden my Jeep multiple times, so I've given him rides to and from the ballpark. Oh man, who else? Joey Gerber, he was here 2 years ago. Now he's pitching with the M's too. He was a really good player. It's also one of the fun things about being so close to Seattle is having Felix and Robinson Cano come up here too. So when you see those guys get a pitch on this kind of smaller level versus the big leagues, that's always kind of fun to see. Who else? Nick Zamorelli, Eric Falia. They were here in 2016 when we almost won the championship. And then who were some other fun? Bobby Honeyman, he was a great guy too. Over the last couple of years, I've been able to help vote for the All-Star teams too, so I've actually had to kind of look around throughout the league and everything. So I've also seen a lot of players come through as well on other teams. The most notable one I'll leave it to one is Joey Bart, who's the top prospect for the Giants. He actually just got called up, but he hit, I think, 5 home runs in a 4-game series against them, and I guarantee you there was one ball that's still going. It was hit over the scoreboard, so it's always kind of cool to see those players start their career here.
That's right. Next is, how have the aquasox been working with no season?
Yeah, it's been tough. It's definitely different for me. I'm used to working 80, 90-hour weeks during the season, just trying to make sure everything stays afloat. But now it's been kind of different because we've been kind of very tamed back and making sure that we're all staying safe. And also there isn't really as much of a need with stuff not in the season, so we've kind of taken some days off for the last few months. But we're still trying to stay just relevant with the community. That's always been kind of big with us. We've done trivia nights. We're making sure we just let people know that we're still here, and when everything goes, is they're safe, ready to go and stuff, we're going to still be here for the upcoming seasons, because we want to continue to the point we were in these last few years, because we were having some great seasons, great attendance, and a lot of people were really getting involved with us. So we're going to try to just we're still going to be here, but we're just trying to stay relevant to the community. We're going to be doing some Webley appearances here shortly, just to make sure people still remember us and we're still relevant.
Very nice, yeah. Next is, what is like the coolest thing about working for a minor league team?
The coolest thing, I think, is just how every day is different. There's like a game day. Every single game is its own separate game. So if you go from, you could have a Tuesday night game where it's just standard stuff, and the next day is your is a theme night that you have no idea. It's Bark in the Park, and there's 200 dogs in the ballpark too. Every single day is different, and also it's always nice. You can't really complain when you get to work at a baseball game, and once the game starts at 7:05, you're working to make sure the game within the game is completed thoroughly, and a lot of people are here having a good time and they're expecting a great time, and that's what they go home with too. So just kind of working with, and also working with the fans too. That's always a fun thing with me, getting to know a lot of people with a common baseline of baseball, and you can't really beat that.
Yeah, I agree. That does sound very fun. Next is, what are some things that happen behind the scenes here at Funko that the fans would normally never really know about?
Yeah, so a lot of people, of course, they come out and they see the players on the field and everything. We actually, besides me and our GM Danny, a lot of people, we have nothing to really do with the Mariners and what they do, and a lot of people think, hey, we're making the call for first base, he's getting pulled out, or whatever the lineup is that day. We have no sort of relevance over the game and stuff. Our GM likes to say, and I kind of steal it from him too, we provide the stage and the Mariners provide the actors. So that's one thing. We don't really have any sense of a baseball mindset. We're here to make sure the hot dogs are hot, and you get have a good parking spot and your ticket gets in and you have a good time family outing at the game too. For me personally, a lot of stuff up in the clubhouse always is just off the scenes, because a lot of people don't think about what's going on up there with all the guys, but that's making sure they're here for baseball camp and at 9 a.m. in the morning one of these days, and hey, their food after the game and stuff, and working with local sponsors to keep them involved, but also the players get food and everything. So just making sure everything up there is going well, and the coaches are taken care of too, because if they're all happy and they come down here and they're happy, they're high-fiving with kids out here when they're doing their running out with them for the national anthem and stuff. So just everything kind of intertwines and everything too. So we just want to make sure everyone's just having a great time out here as the fans though, and so sometimes even the little parts all connect together to make that experience great.
I for one always have a great time when I come to an aquasox game.
Perfect. I love hearing that.
My next question is, when do you think the best places to come and sit and watch a game here at Funko?
Yeah, like I was saying before, one of the things is I personally don't really get to watch the game, just because I'm always running around doing something, just making sure everything's staying afloat. But I know I usually watch the game from the third base little nook over there. That's always fun. If I am over there, I really enjoy one of the upper seats in our A through F sections over on that side, only because you can watch the game. It's always a great view. There's no really a bad view over here since everything's so kind of close, but I love when you get to be able to see the mountains, and it kind of makes the whole experience a little bit better, and you kind of get a little bit of a bird's eye view of it sitting up a little bit higher too. And an underrated thing, I really like the porch out there where you can hang out with Freddie Funko too. That's a great way to see the game, and that's the reason we put that scoreboard up there, so more people could, because that was their number one kind of, we don't know the scores, we don't know how many outs there are and stuff. Well, I was like, well, you can, if you want to watch the game, you can figure out the outs, but at least we have the score up there to make sure people knew if they were sitting out there too. So there's not a bad seat in the house, but if I had to pick one, I'd go either up there or out in the Burger Mountain right field.
When I was younger, I used to love sitting up with Freddie Funko.
Yep.
That was one of my favorite places to watch the game when I was younger.
Oh yeah.
Now I kind of like to hang around by the bullpen.
Bullpen's a great area too.
And try and talk to some of the players when in between the innings.
Yep.
How do you think that this year off will affect minor league baseball in general?
Yeah, I think it's going to be there's a couple of factors into it. Of course, with the whole COVID-19 thing, that's a whole different thing. But also the the PA agreement between the players and or with MLB and minor league baseball's up after this season, and it hasn't been really discussed in the last. I think the agreement that's expiring this upcoming season was in either 2000 or 2010. But there's a lot of different factors that are going to be coming into it, with realignment of teams and short season teams that are going long season. We're kind of up in the air about everything that's going on, which that could directly affect some teams maybe getting cut or extended or brought in. Who really knows with that. And then also with COVID, there's some teams that they rely on their the merchandise. If you buy a hat in the team store, that could be directly paying someone, that type of thing. So it could really affect some teams going forward. I'm hoping that as many teams can stick around, but I know some teams are definitely going to be hurt in some of the smaller areas in the United States.
I see. So are there things that the community can do to help the Everett aquasox?
I've said it a little bit ago. I just think, just hey, when we're ready to go, we want to make sure everyone comes back here and has a safe, fun time and stuff, and kind of rally that community spirit that we're kind of been missing here for the last few months. When we're ready to go, we're going to make sure that everyone's going to have a great time and kind of get back to a little bit more of a normalcy of what's going on and everything. So just, hey, stick with us, and when we're back to go, support us like you have been in the years past. But hey, we're still that team. Just because we missed this season doesn't mean we're not going to be around anymore type of thing. We're going to be going ready to go for 2021.
Awesome. I'm very excited to try and come to some games when it's safe again.
Perfect. We look forward to having you.
So will spring training be any different than it was this year, next year, than it was in the years previous for the organization wise?
For us or for the Mariners?
For you guys.
Okay. Well, for us, we don't really have like a certain spring training just because we don't start till June. I know that's all kind of handled by the Mariners down in Peoria and everything. So it's kind of weird. I know the MLB draft just got pushed back too, and those are a lot of our players. That's where they come from, is from the MLB draft. So that will be interesting to see what happens with us and when those come and what's the direct effect of that. If we're going to get last year's draft class or we're going to get this year's, it's a mixture of both. That's still a little bit different. But we don't really have any sort of spring training here, but I know we will be ready, us in the office, because the spring training, I guess we do indirectly have one, because that's our busy time to make sure everybody's on the same page and ready for the next season.
Nice. So how do the players help the community?
Yeah, so the players, it's kind of tough for us because they play 76 games in 81 days, and that's a lot of stuff. That's not including the bus trips and the late nights too. So it's kind of tough because you want them to get involved, but you also want to respect those days and the time that they have off, because they're here to get better and move on to the next level, and they'll hopefully make it to the Mariners or another MLB team. Some of the ways we try to do it is I actually help run our baseball camp, and so it's a 3-day baseball camp that we run, and the players are the kind of an instructor, so we get 10 players out here in the morning and everything, and they come out and they run this full baseball camp for us, and making sure that's a small thing that we do with the community and stuff. We like to just involve them with our social media posts and them reaching out, and also at the same time, they if you've been in one of the bullpens over there and stuff, they'll talk to you when you're behind them and stuff, and they're always love having fans out here in the ballpark. They'll high five, they'll run out the kids out to the field and stuff. They're always willing to sign autographs. We do a big autograph session at the end of the year too and stuff. So indirectly they help the community, but it's always kind of tough to say, hey, let's go out to a local school because school's not in session, or hey, let's go to the park because hey, we want to promote having an hour of having kids out there to promote baseball, but they just got back from a Vancouver road trip. They got home at 3 a.m. and they don't get to the field till 2, and they want to maybe sleep a little bit. So it's kind of tough, but we try to do our ways within the restrictions that we have.
That makes sense. So final question is, what is your favorite memory here at Funko?
Yeah, I've seen a lot of good games too over the last years, and a lot of cool experiences. I'll say a couple. One, when Felix Hernandez was here in 2016, it was our highest a crowd in history. I think it was a little under 5,200 people, which every single seat was full, and also that entire Burr Mountain right field was full. You can barely even go through it, and it was an unreal experience to be a part of. A lot of just, oh my gosh, we never had this many people out here in our ballpark before, so it was great to see that. And also Kyle Lewis hit a walk-off triple that same game too, so it was a great Sunday, perfect temperature. We had root beer float day and made record stuff for our community fund that same day as well. When Robinson Cano was here, that was 2018, I think. 2018, yeah. He hit a grand slam off a guy that the ball was just absolutely rocketed, and went right over the scoreboard too, and we were down in the game, and he didn't even know what the pitch was coming, or he just went up there and swung at the first one and hit it so far. So, and he was an awesome guy with all the kids too that same time. So I'll have to go with those two guys. That was really cool. And then of course we had a year in 2016. It was just full of I think we had 5 walk-off wins that year. And so it was always just fun to be around that, with Gatorade going everywhere and dumping on guys and stuff too. But that was a lot of fun times, and even at the game, just the memories of getting to be up there with the guys and being up there with the front office staff and stuff, because we create a lot of memories that maybe be not on the field, but we spent a lot of time together too, just making sure everything's having a good time here at the ballpark. It's crazy to think of how much your life goes into this one certain spot for X amount of months. So it's always fun when the payoff comes. And but those are probably some of the favorite memories that come on the field and off the field.
That's awesome. So thank you so much for coming on the podcast. I actually have a CNT sticker for you.
Ooh, nice. Love that, Justin.
Yeah.
It's a good looking sticker. Thanks for having me on. Really appreciate
Thanks
it.
for coming on. I really appreciate it.
Cool.
And hopefully I'll be able to do another podcast soon here when there's games.
Can't wait.